Love this. It's already customer top rated after we just introduced this early this year in July, and you're already loving and seeing results from this FDA cleared device to help promote hair growth in both men and women. So we have it today at a great price, a great value over retail. You can see at retail you would be paying closer to $700 for this device. We have it here at QVC on our best easy payment plan, 6 installments of $90.83, and with an extended return policy, which we'll talk about. Jonathan Graff, he joins me. He is from the iGrow team, and he actually has over 20 years specializing in the hair loss industry. So welcome, Jonathan.
Thanks, Gabrielle. You know, it's really great to be back here on QVC. And just in the last 2.5 months since we debuted the iGrow here in late July, to see the response from the QVC family on QVC.com, from phone calls that we're receiving, from people who purchased it only 2.5, 3 months ago, people are already starting to call in and report on QVC.com that they're already starting to see results. It's just been amazing. I'm so happy to be back here, especially before the holiday season. It's just not something a lot of people think of. Why not give the gift of hair, the gift that keeps on giving throughout the whole year?
Well, what is it? What is the iGrow?
Well, what the iGrow is it's really the latest evolution of a technology that's been around for about 20 years, used worldwide in doctors' offices, hair loss clinics, and spas to treat men and women's genetic thinning hair. The difficulty has always been, it's a technology called low-level light therapy. Now, what we've done with the iGrow is take this out of a clinic in a doctor's office and make a device that's easy to use at home, hands-free, with FDA clearance for both men and women, and so effective that in our 2 double-blind and published clinical studies responsible for our FDA clearance, 100% of men and women who used the iGrow grew hair in only 16 weeks.
Okay, not 80, not 90, 100. That means every person in the study saw results.
Yes.
And so that says a lot, and that's why I think we're seeing so many customer reviews that are so positive and why it's top rated. But let's talk about results. So since you had that 100%, what does that mean? What does that look like?
Well, it's true, because it's very difficult to translate numbers into what things look like. Now, 100% of people grew hair. Now, the average improvement for men and women was 35% more hair for men and 37% more hair for women in only 16 weeks. And I do have some photographs where I can show you what 35 to 37% more hair can do for your appearance.
And
now,
look, if you just said I could get 5% more hair, that's more hair than I started with. So, but
the only thing greater than zero is anything, right?
Exactly.
Now, these are time-lapse photos. I want to show you a series of them. This is Lasanthi. Now, Lasanthi came to us with thinning hair that you see in a lot of women. Thinning hair through the whole top. She's always had thin hair. In only 16 weeks, look at the change in Lasanthi that she saw throughout the entire top area. More hair, the hair is thicker, it's fuller, it stays when it's combed. Now, the change in her personality, let alone her appearance, was just remarkable. There's the change in her confidence. She no longer has to think about it. This is a younger man in his 20s. 35% more hair. See that front area? You were talking about anti-aging earlier this evening. Hair loss is the #1 thing that makes both men and women look older than we are. Now, this gentleman came to us in his mid-20s, and he said, I don't want to look older than I am. I want to look like what I am, a young man in my 20s. Look at the change that he saw in only that 16 weeks. Now, Michelle also came to us with a very common problem you see. Look at the change in that part line area in 16 weeks, the filling in there. How happy do you think she was to see over the course of 16 weeks more hair, not less? Because one of 2 things, in my experience, seeing thousands of men and women in consultations in offices, is one of 2 things is going to happen if you have thinning hair. It gets worse quickly or it gets worse slowly. It doesn't get better on its own.
It doesn't reverse itself.
Right. So when these people actually see more over the course of only 16 weeks, so people say beginning now. What do you want to look like in February, March? You know, everything does take a little time. The treatment protocol we used in these clinical studies was only 25 minutes with the iGrow every other day for that 16-week period, and 100% of those people were better than when they started. They grew hair.
And that's after just 16 weeks. We have an extended return policy for the iGrow where we extend it to 180 days. That's the equivalent of 6 months. So you have plenty of time to see results and see if the iGrow is for you. And if it's not, after those 180 days, you do have the opportunity to return it for a refund. But we really want you to get the most out of your treatment, have an opportunity to see results and see if it's for you. And speaking of which, Jonathan, how do I know if the iGrow is for me? Is it for all types of hair loss or both men and women?
Well, that's a good question. The iGrow has been tested and has been FDA cleared specifically for genetic hair loss in men and women.
Okay.
We have some charts available actually that show exactly who the iGrow is for. Now, the iGrow is for mild to moderate hair loss.
Okay.
If you have mild to moderate hair loss, that thinning in the top area, there's also a specific skin type that the iGrow is for. If you see light-skinned people to medium dark-skinned people.
Okay.
Now, for women, here's the chart that I can show you what that's for. If you see yourself similar to any of these renderings, you have that thinning through the part line, little less hair on the top, more hair on the comb every day. This is the type of hair loss that the iGrow has been shown effective for. For men, much the same. Mild to moderate hair loss, that typical hair loss you see where you're telling your barber, cut the sides, not the top. This is the type of hair loss. If you see yourself similar to this, the iGrow has been shown extremely effective for that type of hair loss for you. Now, for skin types, light-skinned people through medium dark-skinned people. Not that it won't work well on people with much darker skin, but it's very difficult to see results with very dark-skinned people when the hair color is dark and the skin color is dark. These are the type of things that the iGrow has clinically been shown very effective for.
Well, how do we use the iGrow? And I actually know the answer because I've been using it as well as my husband, and I love the hands-free component. So how do we operate it?
As you know, and you've told me, you and your husband find it really easy to use and it just fits into your day. What we wanted to do is make it so that you don't have to find extra time. There's only 24 hours in a day. There's not 24 hours and 25 minutes to do this. So here's a special technique. What you're seeing here on this is the iGrow's patented hands-free canopy with its 51 light sources. Now that's 21 lasers and 30 high output LED that bathe the entire scalp for the entire 25-minute treatment program with no special technique required. Okay? Now we put it on a high quality headphone platform which not only keeps it stable on the head, but they're functional. You can plug a phone in or an iPhone or a music player and listen to music while you're regrowing your hair. We make it plug into the wall so that you have a consistent power supply. Don't have to worry about rechargeable batteries. All of these little factors, I can show you how easy it is to use. The iGrow is extremely lightweight.
Yes.
Weighs 1.2 pounds, I believe. 1 pound, 2 ounces. And 4 ounces of that is the headphones. It plugs into the wall. You simply put it on the head. It adjusts for any size scalp. It plugs into the wall, and you turn it on and push the button that looks the most like you.
I love it. It's very user-friendly.
Very simple. You push the button, the iGrow will turn itself on and turn itself off 25 minutes later. Now you can see the iGrow is turning itself on, and look, what am I doing with my hands? Anything.
Surfing the web, reading a book,
I can surf the web. Yes, I can talk. I can actually plug my phone in. I'm never without my phone anymore. Never in more than 5 minutes. I can plug my phone in with the included adapter and simply listen to music or talk on the phone while I'm helping regrow my hair again. We made it, as you can see in these images, it fits into your lifestyle. If you're going to be doing these things anyway, and I don't know anyone who isn't checking their email or reading a book or talking on the phone, if you're going to be doing these things anyway over the next 4 months, what kind of results could you get if while you're doing these things, you're also regrowing your hair?
And I'll tell you, we fit it into our day. It's the last thing we do. In bed while we're watching the nightly news, so, you know, the last few, of our favorite shows. So my husband, he'll usually put it on first. Then I get my turn. And it's really simple. You can hear, even if you're not plugged in to your phone or to some sort of device, you can hear, so I can have a conversation. We've watched movies while doing our iGrow treatments. So it's easy to stick with, and that's why you'll be able to see those results so quickly. Within about 16 weeks, you'll start to see results. And let's talk about those results. We have some before and afters, and I'd love to show. This is a device that's FDA cleared. So this just, I think, gives us that extra peace of mind in knowing that it's received that FDA clearance to promote hair growth. So when you see those before and afters, it's on men, it's on women of different ages. And this is something that I know for men, it's I think a little bit more socially acceptable to have thin hair or be balding. For women, it's a real blow to our self-esteem.
Gabrielle, it's just heartbreaking. I've sat across from thousands of men and women. Half the people I saw were women in my career. And to see what it can do, I've seen firsthand what it can do to a happy, confident woman to see less and less hair every day and know it's only going to get worse. And to see that look in their face when they actually see more hair in the mirror after undergoing a treatment. And it's just remarkable, just the change in your confidence. You spend less time on your hair the more you have, oddly enough. Now, you mentioned something also, you and your husband both use it.
Yes.
That's why this is the gift that almost for the whole family. It's a great thing to do to be able to switch off. Hair loss runs in families. If you see hair loss in your family, I don't know how many presents you've gotten that, I don't know, 6 months later, they're in a drawer somewhere. This is something that can be continued to use and continue to be a gift to yourself, to your spouse, to your family.
And just real quick, Jonathan, after our kind of initial treatment, is this something we have to keep up with that same regimen? Or do we go into a maintenance program at some point?
You know, there are no cures for genetic hair loss, only treatments. So after the initial 4 months, 16 weeks, usually once a week is plenty to keep your hair in the best shape possible, keep those follicles energized. It's a little like once you're in shape, you still have to exercise occasionally to stay there, just not as hard. What we wanted to do then is make the iGrow so easy to use that it's easy enough to use it enough to get the best results possible and to continue to use it to look your best for the rest of your life.
So imagine if you had to commit to a doctor's office to keep up your maintenance plan. I mean, would you be able to go to the doctor's office once a week?
That was really difficult. When I was running those clinics, the hardest part was getting people to show up.
Sure.
They go the way of my gym memberships fairly quickly. You know, and if you don't do this consistently for the entire treatment program for the 16 weeks, you don't get the best results possible. So that's why we put this package into something that's easy, affordable, and it underwent 2 double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical studies. These weren't customer feedback studies. They were controlled clinical scientific studies that were published in medical journals that showed 100% of the test subjects using the iGrow grew hair in only 16 weeks of treatment.
So really, bottom line is, the sooner you start, the sooner you will see hair.
Absolutely.
So this, we've been waiting to come back in stock. When we brought this to you and introduced it in July, it flew out the door. So it's back in stock and on our best easy payment plan. 6 installments of $90.83. You're getting a great value versus retail when you shop here at QVC. It is called the iGrow. It's FDA cleared. And you saw those great before and after. So results within 16 weeks, but keep in mind we have that extended 180-day return policy. That's 6 months. To give it a test run. Jonathan, thank you so much. Good to see you.
And I'd encourage everybody, please go on QVC.com and look at some of the reviews and see some of those photos and some of that information for yourself.
Very good. Well, that does it for this hour of beauty gifts. Coming up next, 2 hours of the joy of Christmas. We're going to have home decor.